Catus, Maximus here, this time with a quick review of these Quinn angled handle. If I can get these out of the package. Just use some other pliers. These are angle handle needle nose pliers. The Quinn, I believe, is generally the the Chinese Harbor Freight tools, and the Doyles are the ones that are the Taiwanese, although I believe some Quinns are also Taiwanese. We can already see some... Oh, I guess it's okay. Kind of interesting how they didn't quite square out the bottom, as well as, say, these channel locks here, even though they both have... Actually, the channel locks have slightly longer needles. We take a quick look here. Those are actually pretty blunt on the Quinns, but for what you might use them for, I suppose that's okay. We'll see that they are indeed spring-loaded. Couldn't figure out why the rivet was loose on all the ones on the shells, but they have integrated a spring. It's a little coil spring, and there are little undercuts or spaces inside these parts right here, right at the hinge pin, in order to hold that spring. Can make it a little bit weaker, but overall I think these are halfway decent. They have halfway decent handles. They are indeed forged, we can see that. And the idea is that it allows you to get at stuff where you're against a flat surface, or to reach around or over something and be able to grab it. I do have a pair of Titans, but they are buried, and so that's why I'm not digging them out. And I mean really buried. Anyway, not a lot else to say about these, although I would have liked a little bit of curvature. This lower jaw is just a bit straight, or handle I should say, but overall, you know, not the worst. They do advertise chrome vanadium. One interesting thing, nowhere on this packaging, anywhere, does it mention that these are spring-loaded. So slight omission there, and I suppose it's just fine. As far as the cutters, they look okay. I suppose they'll cut things like wire and that type of stuff in a pinch, but you probably want to use some better cutters. Of course, they are pinch style, so they're going to end up doing that. Anyway, just thought I'd make a short little video about these. At least it's another alternative to the Titans and some of the other like performance tool knockoff brands of angled handle needle nose pliers. And they definitely can be handy in quite a few situations. Once you have them, you kind of think, you know, what would you need them for? Then you quickly realize, suppose the teeth are okay. Pretty aggressive there. I guess the last thing to say is that with the handles being angled about 45 degrees, is if you do need to do some twisting, which is not recommended on needle nose, real easy to bend needle nose jaws when you're twisting, but it does allow you some more twisting force in situations where you just got to do that. And the other thing is since the handles are angled, if you got to grab on something and try to pull it out, you have a much better purpose. You have an angle, so you actually have, you know, a lever to grab onto, and it's not trying to slip out of your hands like a normal pair of needle nose pliers are. So even though they don't have the finest tips, I think they just kind of compensate for the fact that you might put these through a little bit more heavier duty use. So suppose that they are okay. Also, I guess considering that they're a lifetime warranty, so you can just swap them out at Harbor Freight. But these types of pliers really have been around for decades, but just haven't really caught on that much. And I think they probably should, just because they are handy. Once you get used to angled handle needle nose, you find you reach for them a lot more often than you'd initially expect if you're just used to a standard straight handle ones. Anyway, really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.